correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of aluminum messed in meals are catching up to me here. But the last World Cup was just last summer, wasn't it?
No, it was last winter.
Okay.
It was about a year ago now.
Right. Okay. Okay. So I got to say, I thought that was kind of a high point leading into 2023. I was disappointed that Canada didn't get a win, but I was really happy with how they played.
Yeah.
And how they really, how would you say, set a good name for themselves, considering how they were about, I think, the only team in the entire tournament, except for the very semifinals, who could score against Morocco.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Like, we lost, I think, 2-1 or 1-1. We tied 1-1, but that was enough to eliminate us.
No, I can't even remember.
And
I don't think that might have been the only goal we scored.
nope, because we did score first against Croatia as well.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
we didn't score against Belgium, although we should have. Because
And even the Belgians
ran
came
them
out.
of the.
The Belgians came out and said,
Yeah,
Canadians should not be disappointed with their team.
yeah, they should have. Even the Belgians admitted that Canada should have won that.
Well, it was
Yeah,
a good team. I mean,
yeah, it was. It was.
so I think we actually had a bit of the World Cup discussion when we did our, what you call it, Thanksgiving in April episode.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
We did have a positive one when we discussed the
Yeah.
World Cup. I don't remember discussing Canada. I remember just saying I was happy Argentina won because Messi deserved it.
Yeah. Yes, I do recall that. Yes, I agree with that. It was. He's been such a great spokesman and representative for the game. Such a gentleman. I was glad to see him rewarded.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I was.
and plus he's a hell of a player.
Oh, hell of a player. Well, yeah, but so's Ronaldo. But he's a bit of a dick.
Yeah, he's a bit of a dick. But I mean, for me, even that to me is the difference between leadership and management, right?
Yeah.
Like on paper, so the leadership side of things, hands down, Messi wins. He's just the better personality. He's more of a team
Yeah.
player, right?
Yeah.
Brings out more in the other players and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And off the field, he's an amazing personality. But
Yeah.
even if you look at the stats, it seems to me, and it's not to diss Ronaldo. He's an amazing player.
Yeah.
But
Mind you, okay.
Messi's that much better. you know?
Can anyone really be insulted when you say, "Well, Messi's better than you"? Can anyone be insulted by that? That's like a hockey player saying, "Well, yeah, you're good, but Gretzky was better than you."
Yeah.
Like, well, okay, I guess.
You compare me to Gretzky.
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
That's all you got?
Yeah, yeah.
All you got is Gretzky?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Actually, when Steve brought up, having a light episode, and I was about to say this, partly because we had the positive episode back in April, apparently.
The things we were thankful for episode.
Right, the things we were thankful for. It's Thanksgiving in April.
It's actually hard for me to pinpoint anything specific to be positive about, right? And in fact, it's kind of, okay, the shit going down in the Middle East, they ain't happy. Fuck knows what's even going on in Russia anymore because it's not even in the news.
Yeah. And it's been a tough year.
Yeah.
2023 was not a good year. And to be honest, it's kind of been a string of tough years since, COVID in 2019?
Well, for me, actually,
Yeah.
this year has been the best year of the last 12 years. It's been the only positive year. I have actually personally had a very good year.
But you're saying that, though, knowing that is kind of an outlier for the majority of folks.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Just for me, I am very thankful. I'm very happy that I have had a good year. It started about October of last year, and something came along to shake up my professional life. That became an amazing ongoing opportunity that I've built a business on.
Nice. Very nice.
And of course, that's led to positive things in the home life, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's
So
it's amazing how interconnected those two are, right?
Yeah. And so, like I said, 2011, 2012 were two really shitty years for me. And then I had a series of just really negative things occur over the next 10 years that compounded to a complete shutdown of function for me.
Jeez.
Slightly prior to COVID, I think, or maybe it was in COVID there somewhere. Can't remember even. And so this is the first year that's been positive since then. That's broad strokes.
Right.
When it comes to specific things like Steve was mentioning, well, what about pop culture? Just think of something.
Oh, some pop culture.
The only thing I can think of, again, just thinking of little experiences, there was one meal we went back to our favorite Indian restaurant for the first time in a couple of years.
Where was this? What is this restaurant? Speak of this.
It's called Little India.
Yeah?
And
Where
it's
is this
on-
place?
It's on 34th Ave.
Okay. Good neighborhood. Good neighborhood for it.
Like in Auto Row. Right? So between,
Yep.
it's about 93rd, 94th.
Yep. Is this a converted fast food joint? Like it used to be something like a Wendy's or something like that?
No, I think that's the one that's New Asian Village.
Oh, okay. Because there was one that was that I've heard was very good, but it's in an old converted fast food diner.
No, I don't know which one that one. This one is set back. It's in a commercial strip mall.
Yep.
U-shaped off of 34th Ave.
Yep.
And it's
In between 91st and 97th Street?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we've been going there for ages, and we hadn't been there in a while. And they just have an amazing buffet.
I love
And
buffet.
so I just remember sitting.
Yeah.
Karen and I were sitting there, and it's just the vibe was great. The food was great, and I'd forgotten how great it was. And I was just having
Just enjoying it.
an almost emotionally good time. You know, like it's feeling
Yep.
really good.
You know, just not ethnic buffet. Most of the buffet I go to is either Indian or Chinese. I have not been to like just domestic buffet, and I don't know how long.
I don't know if you can find one.
Pretty hard, yeah. Like there used to be a place called Buffet World on 101st or Stony, wasn't it? Wasn't there?
Yeah, there was like 3 of them, and that was like,
Yeah,
and I think they got bought out by Asian people, and they gradually became more and more Asian anyway.
yeah.
Yeah, because you used to have half and half, but because it was
Yeah.
generally an East Asian
Yeah.
mixed with Western. So
Yeah.
there's, for the
And,
gringos in
there
the
was
crowd.
Royal Fork on Fort Road. I think that's gone.
I think so, yeah.
I think
Used to have what was the one that you get the amazing prime rib?
Bonanza.
No, but I remember Bonanzas.
I loved Bonanza.
My dad did too because he was cheap.
It was good. There was one on 137th.
Yeah.
Man, like I was on a first name basis with that staff, but the place burned down, and that was it.
I think a couple of them did. There was one on
never
Argyle Road and
came
just
back.
off 97th Street that we used to go to all the
Didn't
time.
still-
and,
they all-
and the little cows, the little plastic thing, it'd stick in your steak, so you knew how.
Yeah.
What it was down at.
Yeah. I love that, man. That place had the best buffet. That was awesome. I wouldn't eat all day if I knew I was going there. No breakfast, no lunch, boys. We're saving this.
Actually, now it occurs to me, like, everything apparently for me positive this year is going to be food related.
Well,
There was
You didn't see a movie
we
you liked,
are
did
of that age.
on Stony Plain Road. There's a really nice commercial strip mall with some restaurants in it. One of them is a Spanish restaurant, and they had the most amazing. It was like I think it's like an Argentine provolone.
Oh, yeah.
Melted with chimichurri on top of it,
Yeah.
and you get it with little pieces of bread to put it on. Oh man, it was delicious.
Oh, yeah?
Absolutely delicious.
Now, when you say Spain, do you mean Castilian Spain or Latin American?
Castile.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm trying to remember what it was called because I'd push the name right now, but I can't remember.
El Blanco. No, that sounds more Latin American.
I went to in Calgary. I was working in Calgary once.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, I went to this Indian restaurant called the Clay Oven, which was
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I love it already because
Yeah, it's a great
clay
name.
oven is tandoor.
Yeah, tandoori, yeah.
yeah. So we went there, and I went with a couple Indian guys because
That's right.
Like
Gotta
what-
know, yeah.
Where-
They'll let you know if it's authentic.
yeah, where I work, right? Like there's
Yeah.
there's I think 70 trucks in Edmonton, and 6 of us are not Indian.
Yeah.
So anyway, I went with these 2 guys, and so the menu was completely in English. It was a restaurant I think focused towards English people, but I mean my guys all ordered it in Hindi.
Yeah.
and it was really good.
Yeah, that's good.
I can say.
You can
And they said
always-
it was good too. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, that's always encouraging when you go to a restaurant with an ethnic theme and members of that ethnic group patronize the restaurant,
Yeah.
then you know it's you want to say, well, is this legit Himalayan food?
Yeah.
And if a bunch of Gurkhas are in there, well, then okay, it's. But if it's just a bunch of people who are not of that ethnic group, like it's all a bunch of Filipinos and Mexicans or something like that, well,
I mean,
are you getting the real thing or not? You don't know.
you have to take it with a grain of salt.
Well, it's like on the south side, there's a restaurant called Sam Wok. Used to be a block off White Ave,
Yep.
and they moved further down Calgary Trail. Now they're
Yep.
just north of Argyle. But yeah, you went in there, and it was walking place from where I used to live,
Yep.
or walking distance from where I used to live in Old Strathcona. So I'd go there all the time. But yeah, it was always filled with Chinese people, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was-
I mean, yeah, it is a sliding scale. But like, for example, Chinese food is the classical example. Well, there's Chinese food, and then there's low feng Chinese food, right? There's the kind of Chinese food that's been North Americanized.
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
Right? Well, and don't get me wrong, I love that crap.
Oh, I do too, right?
That
Like-
stuff is, I love that. I love that garbage. But on no way do I honestly think that that's legitimate. Like, if I want an authentic Chinese cuisine experience, okay, I'm not going for my low feng stuff. That's just my guilty pleasure food.
Mm-hmm.
And if I actually, and again, it's the same thing with Indian. There's Indian food that I really like, which I know has absolutely nothing to do with India. Most butter chicken that you're going to find out there, has absolutely nothing to do with India. We love it, but it's not authentic Indian. So sometimes you want an authentic dining experience where this is the kind of recipe that somebody from that region or that culture would actually be familiar with. And so, that to me is kind of a barometer. If I see people from that community in the restaurant, then like, okay, let's give this a shot.
Well, plus also if they specify a region. Right? There's one that's called Achis on, again, on Stony Plain Road, just west of 149th. And it's a lot of, I'm probably going to butcher the name here, Chetanai, which is, I think it's northern, but I have no idea.
Okay.
Right? But it's obviously, the way they describe it, a very localized menu. And it doesn't have all the selection that one might find at another Indian restaurant, right? But it's very unique. So
it's specific to that region.
Yeah, and if they're specifying a region, then therefore they're not doing this for the gringos, right?
Yeah.
Or if they are, it's like, here's a specific menu,
Yeah.
Mr. Gringo.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Enjoy.
And in fact, so it was really hot too,
Yeah.
because they had two versions. They had chili chicken and
Yep.
they had chili chicken 65,
Yeah.
right? And
Chili chicken 65.
right? And I was like, well, what's the difference?
What-
Well, one of them's really hot. And I'm like, okay, I want the really hot one.
You like
right?
really hot?
Sometimes I'm an idiot,
Yeah.
and most of that shit got beaten out of me. Like I learned my lesson after drinking 12 Guinness and then having
Yeah.
an Indian and then puking
Yeah.
it out later at 9th Street Cafe. But no, every once in a while I get stupid again, right?
Yeah.
And the waiter said to me, "This is really hot. Are you sure you want it?" Right? I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to give it a shot." And they went back in. They ordered it, and they came back with the chef. And
Yeah.
the chef is like,
Are you sure?
"I'm about to make this for you. Are you sure you want this?"
Could you sign this waiver, please?
I had
I want to hear. Like, was it that bad?
Oh, it was hot.
So
It was
like,
hot.
did
I
they
don't
have
think
to
I
carry
finished
you
it,
out, or?
but I think I managed over half of it. So
Oh my god! Why?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm in.
Why? What makes someone think that's a good
I don't
idea?
know.
Hey, you know what? This dish, I think I might suffer when I eat that. Like, I'm sorry, but that sounds very Scottish. It's like, we gotta find a way to make food horrible and unpleasant. Like, come on, man, what are you doing?
But in this case, in a painful way.
Yes, not just tasting grotesque. Like that's what Scotland did. They didn't have any spices. It was the Indians were like, we got,
we'll make it painful.
yeah, we can make it painful. Yeah, why?
I don't know.
Anyway, you were going to say something.
I was just saying, I went. I was on a motorcycle trip, and we stopped at the Ainsworth Hot Springs, just north of Nelson, BC. There, and went to the hot springs, and afterwards we ate at the restaurant in the hotel, and I ordered a Cajun chicken seasoner. And the waiter's like, "Well, what would you like? Would you like mild, medium, a hot, or 5 alarm?" I'm like, "Oh, I'll just try hot." I like some Sprite, but I'm not going to go 5 alarm. I'm not that
Yeah.
stupid, right?
Yeah.
I have had habanero salsa that was not that hot.
Like, so obviously it was a sliding scale.
Holy
Yeah, again,
crap.
sliding
Like,
scale.
I have no idea what 5 alarm would have been.
The good people in Nelson like to suffer.
Yeah, evidently. Yeah, and the way, so after I get the thing, right, I'm having this thing, and I eat all the salad, and I probably, again, like half the chicken or whatever, but I just couldn't finish it. It was just, even with the oil and the dressing and stuff like that, just, whoa. And so he tells you, oh yeah, well, our chefs our chefs from Colombia. It's his own recipe for the hot sauce.
Oh, yeah.
He was in there making it one time. The whole kitchen. We came in one time. The whole kitchen was cleared out, and he was in there with a bandana wrapped around his face.
God.
Jeez, I'm like, that would have been a good story here beforehand. I would have got medium.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So something else that's kind of interesting, kind of fun, is in hockey games, how they have the emergency backup goaltender.
Oh, yeah.
Or it's some guy in the community, both goaltenders are down,
Yeah.
buddy off the street gets in there, lives the dream, right? Have you guys kind of noticed that it seems like each team wants to have the emergency backup goaltender moment, and they'll get the guy on the bench, and they always put him in the last minute? They usually put him in the last minute because it's such a feel-good story for the crowd.
Yeah, but I mean, it's, I think it's like a lot of those things. So now it's become almost a trope.
Right.
So
Exactly.
the original ones, those are the true feel-good
Those are the great ones. Like David Ayers.
Because they're legit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That wasn't the guy. The guy who played in Chicago, or it was for
He
Chicago.
was the first guy, yeah.
That was the first one. And that was
Yeah.
like get out
Ayers
there.
was he was one of the beginning ones.
Yeah.
But he actually had to play the game.
Okay.
He played
whereas
almost half the game.
The
Yeah.
Chicago one was just like the last 7 minutes.
couple of minutes, yeah. And he faced one or two shots.
I think he faced 7, but only 3 of them were on target. And
Yeah.
he stopped all 3 of them.
Yeah. Whereas Ayers got lit up on the first 2 and then had to... And, of course, his experience was, he was like half the game. Almost. And like the entire third period. And that's what made it so interesting.
Yeah.
But something that I always find, like you talk about pop culture, what's really interesting is you get on an American sports talk radio or podcast or something like this, where they don't follow hockey. It's all about baseball, basketball, football.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so somebody here is going to explain this hockey thing to us, what this emergency backup go. Okay, now let me get this straight. You're taking in some boy off the street, and he's going in the net for you? Like, how can that be a real sport if you can just take a guy off the street? I don't understand that. And then, they bring in their American who's at least watched 4 or 5 hockey games. So he's the closest they have to an expert.
Yeah.
And he tries to explain to them how this whole thing works. That can be entertaining.
No doubt.
As you watch these guys whose entire world is 4-down football, trying to relate to this concept. Like, it's on ice, right? And it's not in 4 quarters. It's on
It's
ice.
3 periods, and you
What?
change on the fly. And
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like, certain American sports minds, I'm amazed they haven't tried to change baseball to 4 quarters.
well, actually, funnily enough, watched Moneyball again for the first time in a while.
Oh, that's a great
Recently,
film.
this week.
That's a great
And
film.
love that movie.
Yeah.
Because it's exactly along those lines.
But again, I'm just, if baseball hadn't been the first ever American sport, I'm pretty sure, like if you had invented baseball 6 years ago,
Oh, no.
I guarantee the Americans would have put it in 4 quarters by now.
Yeah, probably.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed they'd have done it.
Yeah, well, because it has such a long-standing history to it. I mean,
Yeah, that's the only reason why. It predates their other sports.
And
That's the only reason.
And you look at movies like Field of Dreams really solidified, I want to say the mystique, but mystique isn't quite the right word, but it's just the place it has in the heart.
Yeah.
I
Although,
didn't
that
like Field
said,
of Dreams.
What's that?
I didn't like Field of Dreams.
Really?
His best baseball movie is Bull Durham by far.
Bull Durham was good. For the love of the game, I loved.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great film.
Yeah.
But I would say that baseball lends itself to film better.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
just because of the structure of it.
But Bull Durham, but also because I'm lowbrow, I made my favorite baseball film is probably Major League. But
Yeah, that's pretty funny too. Wild thing.
It's just Police Squad in a different form.
yeah, what's wrong with Police Squad?
Yeah, exactly.
say that like it's a bad
Nothing's
thing.
wrong. Okay, so the one thing Major League didn't have was Leslie Nielsen because
Yes,
really,
and-
if you're gonna
No,
if you're
because
gonna
it had what's his name, Bob Eubanks.
Yep.
Yeah, as the announcer.
However, Police Squad did have
They
a
did have the
baseball
baseball.
game.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's
oh,
true.
the scene where everybody's spitting tobacco.
yeah.
Oh my God. That is a film classic. Even the Queen just spews his jaw.
Yeah, that was
Oh my
the
God.
second Naked Gun movie, wasn't it?
I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember.
22 and a half, I think.
They're all just absolutely brilliant. And on pop culture, have you guys seen the YouTube mashups where they combine Leslie Nielsen Police Squad footage with things like Star Wars?
No.
Oh my God, those are good. They superimpose Leslie Nielsen's Top Gun stuff into like various Star Wars famous scenes.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh, you gotta look at.
yeah. They're really good. They're really good.
I shared one on Facebook this week. It was clips from the original trilogy Star Wars, set to the theme from the Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
And so I was like, I put it as like the Disney Plus show we really want because it was like imagine the Dukes of Hazzard, but it's Han and Chewie or Luke and Bo, right?
God.
The Millennium Falcon is the General Lee, right?
Yeah.
And then they miscast. They had Luke Skywalker as Enos. I'm like, I don't know that he really works as the cop.
I don't know. He does bear a resemblance though.
Yeah, Boba Fett as
Boss Hog.
As Boss Hog, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Boba Fett
as
was Roscoe.
Roscoe. Oh my God.
And then Jabba the Hutt was Boss Hog.
That's very, very generous to Roscoe because Boba Fett was actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
yeah. But
Whereas
I mean,
Roscoe was
you got to
always,
work with what you got.
Yeah.
I guess. Roscoe was always kind of a parody figure.
I had one yesterday. I think it was someone I reposted because it was the Lord of the Rings trilogy, but only with the lines of Legolas speaking to Frodo.
Yeah.
and it shows the intro, opening credits, and it goes, and you have my bow, and it goes to closing credits.
So, was it? I don't know if I heard this correctly on the radio today. Has it been 21 years since the release of Two Towers?
Okay. 2000 was Fellowship, so. And
So it's been in that neighborhood.
And I think it was 2 years before, because I remember waiting for Two Towers, and I was some piss having to wait
Has
for
it really been that long?
So I think it's actually 21 years.
Are you kidding me? Wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that long.
I know.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Well, back then.
Those are some of the best films ever made.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
They're
Back
brilliant.
then, my age started with a 3, and yours
Yeah.
started with a 2.
Yeah, first one was in 2001.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, yeah, it was 2001.
Wow.
Oh, so it might have been 20 years, because I think it took 2 years for Two Towers to come out. And then it
Two
The
turned-
Towers-
3 films were shot simultaneously?
Yeah, he shot. Oh yeah,
Wow. That's incredible.
I think probably because he wanted to keep the season consistent.
I get, I
for
get
his,
it.
for his outdoor stuff.
Yeah, I get it.
So-
It's one of the biggest and most, or I'm just looking at the Wikipedia entry, which is Steve's put on the screen here. It says one of the biggest and most ambitious film projects ever undertaken.
And it did not disappoint. I remember
It didn't.
No,
because
it was
I read the books like 3 times before
Yeah.
I was.
I could never get through the books, but
Yeah, I never.
and then there was that early animated one.
Oh,
Somebody
yeah.
Yes,
made me
I
try
remember
and
that.
suffer through that.
Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, I remember.
I couldn't. I couldn't suffer
the
through
animated
that one.
Hobbit, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Maybe it was the animated.
No,
Hobbit.
the Hobbit was, but the animated Hobbit was made by Rankin Bass. But then the Ralph Bakshi tried to do Lord of the Rings in '78, I think it was, and it was a bit darker. Like the Rankin Bass one was like for kids, and that was
Yeah.
the Hobbit. No, this was Lord of the Rings, and it did into Two Towers a little bit, and there was supposed to be a follow up to it.
And of course, the studio.
It
walked
never
away.
happened because
Yeah.
it didn't do as well as it could have. But this. In fact, I remember getting to the end of Return of the King, and I mean it was really well done. The end of it and saying goodbye, and it was just like it was sad, but it was satisfying. It was like,
Yeah.
good job.
Was it faithful to the books?
It was
I never read them
it was
either.
definitely faithful enough. It
Yeah.
really grasped the elements of the story that mattered. I just absolutely loved it.
They did a good
have-
job of like doing immense scale and stuff like that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, CGI made that possible.
Yeah.
Which is probably why you couldn't do Lord of the Rings until
Yeah.
the current
Oh, yeah,
kind of
absolutely.
technology.
Which is the weird thing
you
that-
couldn't do this in the 70s.
to realize we're going back 22 years to when the first one came out, and,
Yeah.
and realizing that was CGI
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
to that point, and so now we're 22 years
I
later.
have read that the fellow who played Gandalf, I forget his
Ian
Ian
McKellen.
McKellen.
Yeah, I understand that he carried a copy of every book, like whatever they were filming. He carried a copy of that book with him on set in case there was ever in between shots, discussion of how they're going to do it, and he was, he'd whip that right out to kind of say, look, is this canon? To make sure that they were being faithful.
Right,
I've read that. I don't know how true that is.
It's always interesting. There's a lot of cool stories I found that came out. The one I heard is, I think it was Viggo Mortensen himself talking about it. Mm-hmm. But he got the phone call. They wanted him to play Aragorn, and he was like, never heard of it. Mm-hmm. I'll think about it.
think
Right?
about it,
And he
yeah.
got off the phone, and his kids are like, "The what?
You're what? You call them back right now.
you call him back?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always love the story about a scene where someone gets stabbed and they put in a sound effect, and Christopher Lee was like, "No, that's not what people sound
Yeah,
like." when
that's
they get
I remember that too. Yeah, that's not what they sound like.
stabbed."
Yeah, 'cause
Well, that's
he
right, because
knows.
he was SAS or something. Wasn't he?
Yeah.
SOE,
SOE. He was
yeah.
SOE. Yeah, in the Second World War.
He is now. That was a fascinating guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What a life!
Yeah.
What an amazing life. And there was something about how he proposed to his wife or something like that. Like he walked there. No. His father-in-law, his prospective father-in-law, would not bless the marriage. He didn't approve of Christopher Lee. And he said something to the effect of, I think it was possibly spurious, but he said, the only way I would ever consider this is if you got, the personal recommendation of the King of Sweden. Christopher Lee got it. Like he got some monarch to call the prospective father-in-law and say, I endorse this marriage. Something to that effect. Maybe Steve can find it while we're jawing away here. But what an amazing guy. There needs to be a movie about this guy's life in and of itself.
Yeah,
It was
Who would take it
incredible
on?
stuff. Oh yeah, there it is. He had to have the permission of the King of Sweden to marry, and he got it.
Hiring private detectives to investigate him and asking Lee to provide him with references, which Lee obtained from Douglas Fairbanks, John Bootling, and Joe Jackson.
Like, how do you get this? Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, finally, Lee had to have the permission of the King of Scotland to marry.
Or the King of Sweden, and he gets it.
Wow. Yeah, he gets it, yeah. Lee had met him some years before while filming
Yeah.
Tales of Hans Andersen.
A couple of more lighter points. So getting back, last Thursday I did a soap market for Karen, her handmade soaps, and it was in a retirement home. And before they started selling the soaps, we got it all set up. But they had this school choir come in, and grades 4, 5, and 6 type of thing, and partway through, they sang 2 or 3 songs, and they dispersed amongst the residents, and they were with these songbooks, and we're all going to sing together. And one of these precocious young lads comes up to me and he goes, "You want to sing with me?" And I'm like, "Well, no, you're supposed to be hanging out with the people who actually live here, right?" He said, "Oh no, we can sing together, right?" But there was an old fellow sitting next to him. So, and I just stood because I knew this. You know what I mean? I'm sure we all know all the words to all the songs, right? So, I think we'd sung. I think it was "Deck the Halls." And I sang "Deck the Halls." And I was standing up, the kid was sitting there, and he was with the old guy reading them. And he stood up at the end of the song, and he said, "Good job."
Good job.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
That's another thing I've seen a few mashups of Christmas carols mashed up, where usually lyrics with metal songs.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, there's one. Yeah, it's
Get down with the sickness to like a
think
Christmas
it's-
Carol or something.
no. There's an AC/DC one done to Deck the Halls. I'm pretty sure.
Was there a rock star, a big name who just passed away like in the last couple of days?
What's his face from the Pogues? Lisa
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Pogues.
Shane
Yes.
McGowan.
Shane
Yeah,
McGowan.
yeah.
Yep,
that one
he
hit
passed.
hard. That one hit hard.
The best Christmas
Yeah.
song ever.
I played it immediately.
That is that, with one exception.
Band-Aid.
That is the A Christmas Carol. That is the only Christmas song I can stomach.
Fairy Tale of New York.
Yep. Otherwise, Christmas music makes my ears bleed.
I am not a fan of Christmas.
Oh God!
Here is
It's
Deck the
awful.
Halls to War Pigs.
Okay, here you go. Let it rip.
Oh yeah, that's the right.
After the commercial.
After the commercial.
I'll have to try to edit this out.
I read I also heard that Mariah Carey makes like millions, like plural,
Oh, yeah.
every year out of that trash she foisted on the public.
I'm sure she
Okay,
does.
here we go.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly. 'Tis the season to be jolly. Don we now our gay apparel.
This works shockingly
Troll
well.
the ancient Yuletide carol. See the blazing Yule before us. Strike the harp and join the chorus. Follow me in merry measure while I tell of Yuletide treasure. Oh Lord, yeah!
How much money do you think this guy has spent on musical instruments and recording equipment?
I'm sure probably as much as I spent on guns.
At least. I mean, for those listening to this is the guy singing is playing every single instrument in this clip. It's a purely solo effort.
Yeah.
He's doing his own bass. He's doing his own lead guitar. He's doing his own vocals. He's doing his own percussion. I'm assuming recorded independently of each other.
Yeah.
And then he mixed on his own.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can do it with Pro Tools now, right? Like, it's,
Yep.
so just on your,
Yep.
in fact, you could probably actually do it even with I have free software on here I use for editing this after we're done, and I think you can do it on there. You can multi-track on there called Audacity.
Tell you, music stores are some of the most dishonest, exploitative.
Well, they have to be, otherwise it wouldn't sell anything.
Oh,
What are?
yeah, music stores. Places that sell musical instruments. They are some of the most. Oh, they're terrible. Because you go in there like they're selling the dream. You're going to be a rock star, kid. You know that's what they're selling.
Yeah.
You're gonna go on tour. You're gonna stay at a Holiday Inn. You're gonna be kissed the next day. You're gonna play in front of like sold out stadiums. They're selling that dream. They're
Boy.
worse than hockey stores, for God's sakes. They're terrible.
You really toned that down. You're going to get kissed the next day. You're going to stay at the Holiday Inn. Woo! That's fame and fortune for you.
Come on, wouldn't you?
Kiss and gum and rock and roll.
Are you telling me you wouldn't? Like if you okay? Let me set the table.
No,
Driving.
I'm just saying, you made that awfully PG.
It's late. It's raining. You're tired. You want to shut her down. You pull into a Holiday Inn. You wake up the next morning. There's Kiss. Come on, man. We need a guy on stage. We need someone to back up Ace on guitar. And you suddenly have the ability and
Okay.
you're going to turn it down? No, you're
When
not.
you said kiss, I thought you meant like
Getting
you're gonna have a girl who's gonna kiss you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Like, you remember the commercial, right? Where the guys come off stage and the manager's like, man, we are back. That was awesome. That was the greatest performance in years. And these guys are taking off all of their makeup and their costumes. And the manager says, wait a second. You're not Gene Simmons. You're not Kiss. And it's just a bunch of middle-aged bozos, right? And the guy said, well, no, but we stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. You don't remember that?
No.
That's one of the...
I
my God!
I don't remember that one specifically, but I do remember I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah, it was one of the like, that has got to be one of the greatest advertising shticks of all time, because it doesn't say like, hey, we got a nice hotel. Like, Holiday Inn, it doesn't, it's good budget, family friendly. No. Everybody does that crap. They say, you will get, magical powers if you stay at like, all these guys do these amazing things only because they stayed at a Holiday Inn.
Yeah,
right?
there might have been like one. Are there any pilots on the airplane?
Yeah,
kind of thing?
yeah, exactly.
I'm not a pilot, but I stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
And saves the day. He lands this thing, even though it's like 3 inches are on fire.
Yeah.
That's the kind of crap they would do, right?
Yeah.
You saved us all. Are you a pilot? No, I just stayed at a Holiday Inn last night.
Yeah, it's a qualification.
Yeah, exactly, right? Brilliant stuff. So yeah, that's where that came from. Anyway, music stores are horribly dishonest. Yeah,
Well,
you'll be
what
a
was the
rockstar
movie?
kid.
I mean, it was a true story, but what was the band? And they made a movie. I think Mark Wahlberg was in the movie about like the band. Was the lead singer died or the band broke up, and then they recruited the guy from the leading cover band to take over as lead singer.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I saw. It was called Rockstar, wasn't it?
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah.
This is about 20 years old.
That's a
About as old as Lord of the Rings.
but it was kind of based sort of on a
Yeah, I think it was actually it was a true story.
That's interesting. Well, why not? I mean, that would be the most natural guy to do it, right? Because this is always the problem when a band loses its lead singer. That is a real fingerprint of the band. I'm trying to think of bands that have had to retool after losing a lead singer.
Oh, you can they're all out there.
AC/DC is one of the few that was able to do it relatively seamlessly.
Yeah.
In Excess never recovered.
No.
Journey, I think, was able to do it.
In Excess was interesting because they did a series,
Yeah.
a TV show recruiting their new lead singer. It was great. I liked it. And I thought the guy was pretty good, but they did one album and that was it.
Yeah, they never the audience didn't like the new sound.
I
It was
guess,
like Queen. Same thing. Like I think
Queen never.
How do you replace?
Yeah,
Freddie
I don't
Mercury?
think they ever tried though. did
Yeah,
they?
but they never tried.
That's what I'm
right?
saying.
Like,
They didn't survive.
like
losing their lead singer.
Yeah.
Queen is actually one of the few bands that probably could have, but just didn't want to.
Yeah,
right.
They
I
all
don't know.
what-
There's no replacing Freddie on stage.
no, there isn't. But what
No, but-
they kind of do is they allow guest lead singers.
Yeah.
like they'll show up at very special occasions where some seriously big names will.
Yeah.
Fill
Well, they
in for a
toured.
single tune.
They toured a couple of years ago with who the heck was it? Not the guy from Maroon 5. No.
Don't know.
No, but he was. Yeah, who did? Because he went and backed up a band. He became a lead singer for a band too.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, but they toured a couple years ago with a guy from a newer band who has a very high voice, and it seems to me he might have been on American Idol as well. But Queen had the depth of talent, right? Like every member of Queen wrote multiple number one hits. Like, it wasn't just Freddie. It wasn't like Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner's a band who perpetuates, but when the plane crashed, the creative soul was taken out of the band, right? So like the band, even though it persisted, it never really survived Ronnie Van Zant's death.
Yeah.
But Queen had the writing ability, the talent, the musical ability was there. They could have replaced Freddie if they wanted. They just want to, right?
Yeah.
Now,
Or they could have gone on and become something else.
That's
whatever,
the creativity, but it's the performance that Freddie brought to it. And he
Right?
proved,
Yeah.
he
Absolutely.
proved that at Live Aid, right?
Yeah.
There was,
Yeah.
at that moment, Queen became that.
Yeah,
for sure.
But there was the tribute concert after his death,
Yes.
where various other artists would join. Like you'd have a guitar, the one guitarist from Roger Daltrey, joined to play.
Well, Roger Daltrey's the lead singer, not.
Yeah, he joined to play one tune, and then what was it? Their big finale. I think it was the guy from Guns N' Roses, Axl,
Axl Rose.
Yeah.
in a leather kilt, no less. I think it was Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't that the
That's the
Help
big
Me
one,
Out?
yeah.
That was the finale of the concert, and they had 3 or 4 other names throw in with the band. While he didn't do the entire thing, but he did like the crescendo.
No, there's. I remember watching it back in the day.
Yeah.
When I was managing the video store.
Yeah.
So that was one of the things I would throw up.
Yeah,
it
was but I think that also set the tone for what Queen was going to do from here on in.
Well, for me, it was also an introduction to Queen because I had friends who were into Queen back in the day, but it was never my thing, right? But all these tunes, listening to this concert, actually, my favorite coming out of that was Metallica doing Stone Cold Crazy. Because I had never heard that song before. I was like, holy shit, I like this.
I have not heard the Metallica version
Right.
of that song. No.
And I can't remember who did Hammer to Fall
I don't remember
on that concert. But the
I
first
don't
time I'd heard
remember
that song
who
as well.
did Under Pressure with David Bowie.
I don't know.
Because I remember I was really interested to see
That's
who is going to fill in for Freddie on that one, and now I can't remember who did it.
I think that to me is one of the top. It actually might be my favorite Queen song.
I would say it is, yeah.
Yeah, it's
for
mine
me it
too.
is. Yeah.
Though I am a lover of fat bottom girls.
Oh,
Well,
okay, guys. Picking your single favorite Queen song. It's like, okay, come on. Pick the single greatest day of your life. Like,
Yeah.
You know, pick the best kind of sunshine. I mean, like, come on, man.
If Rob Harley ever listens to this podcast, he'll be pissed.
Why?
Well, Rob Harley, was a former Regimental
Yeah.
Corps Master of the 11th Regiment, is like the world's largest Queen fan.
Oh, yeah?
Like no other bands existed.
Well, like
outside of Queen.
then, yeah, like get him to pick his single one favorite Queen song. Like,
Yeah. Well, no,
how do you do that?
yeah. And you know what? And numerically, I've followed this guy in the States. He's out of LA, a guy named Christian Hand, who used to do this thing where he deconstructed songs on the internet. And he still does the performances live at venues, but you know he lives in LA, so he gets down there. So he played the song like he'd go track. You know, he'd go like, here's the drum track, here's the bass track.
Yeah.
Now we'll mix in the drum track again, and then
Yeah.
oh, here's the guitar track, and now we'll mix in the drums and,
Yeah.
and do all that stuff, and then and yeah, he maintained that the Queen was like. Once you set aside the Beatles as a cultural phenomenon, they were more than a band; they were a cultural phenomenon. Then Queen was the greatest band in the world.
Sure. Yeah, I get it.
And when you say that, I'm like, and then he made the point. He's like, everybody, they had so many number one hits, and
Yeah.
every member of the band wrote multiple number one hits.
Yeah.
Right. And you're like, well, yeah, those are good numbers, right? On the stats, it's
And like
it's hard to
there are
argue.
certain bands that occupy like certain niches, like other musicians. Like they never had the popularity amongst the general public
Yeah.
that other acts did. But other musicians continually point to Rush
oh yeah.
as being one of the most musically skilled
Oh yeah, absolutely.
bands.
Well,
But I can't
history.
stand Geddy Lee's voice. I'm sure he's a very nice person.
Yeah,
I just can't
Yeah,
stand his voice.
they never had the commercial success
Yeah.
that other bands did.
Well,
just
and-
the other
and
musicians admired.
even Zeppelin never had a number one hit outside of the UK, right?
Really?
Yeah.
How interesting.
Yeah, but they're legendary. It was,
Yeah. They
are
But
legendary.
speaking of Rush, I mean, it's if you look on YouTube, they're a Hall of Fame induction.
Yeah.
like watch it sometime. It's there's a who's who of people.
Oh, for sure.
And it's
Yeah.
Dave Grohl of the Foo Fighters, and
Who has a reputation as being a very, very talented musician in his own right.
right. So he and the drummer who just died, whose name I can't remember.
Neil Peart.
No, of the Foo Fighters.
Oh, Taylor Hawkins.
Taylor Hawkins. So they're the ones who introduced Rush, and they do an amazing job. But it was even when the host is announcing all the names of the inductees for that particular year. I think it was 2012. And then he gets to, and he's listed all these people like Randy Newman,
Yeah.
Hart, and blah blah blah. And then he gets as far as and from Toronto, and then the whole place just erupts.
Oh, yeah?
Oh yeah, and because apparently it's a big deal because Rolling Stone magazine shut them down for years and they
What
were
do you mean?
kept out of the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of
Rolling
Fame.
Stone kept
Rolling Stone
kept
Rolling
Rush?
Stone.
out of the Hall of Fame?
Because it was the mainstream media just would not
Right.
give them the cred they needed to be in the Hall
right.
of Fame, right?
Right, and Rolling Stone was primary.
They were part of
amongst
that,
them,
right? So, but there's this eruption.
My
When they announced it.
ex-wife used to play in a rock band. She was a guitarist.
Really?
Yep. Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yep. Most of what I know about the recording industry is from her describing her life in a rock band, which was really interesting. But anyway, she said they would often do performances with, where there's 3 or 4 bands all performing that night. And so everyone comes before the doors open and you do your sound checks and your warm-ups and whatnot, get everything ready. And then it's pre-programmed into the board so you can just go up and play. And they would do a warm-up, her and the bass drummer, or she was a bass guitarist. Her and the drummer would do a warm-up where they would play The Ocean by Rush.
Okay.
Which apparently is an extremely difficult drum and bass line to do and to do together. And so they rehearsed that over and over and over and over again so that they could master it just purely for the purpose of intimidating every other band there.
Yeah, I bet.
That's all it was. It was just to say, you guys, compared to us, you're hacks. And just kind of,
Wow.
a little bit of gamesmanship, in
Yeah. Well, the drums
throwing off the other bands.
like this fellow Christian Haney says, like the drums and the drums and the bass are like the engine room of the song.
Well, yeah,
Right?
they
Like
are.
it doesn't go anywhere without those two. Even though you don't, especially you never really notice the bass unless you're really paying attention.
Right.
In the mix. So when he was doing that deconstructing stuff and you just hear the whole bass and you're like, well, this could just be the song.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you hear the final mixing and you realize how much of it is lost
Totally.
in the mix.
Totally. Just like in pipe bands.
Yeah.
Your pipe band lives or dies by the tenor and the bass drums.
Yeah.
Everything else is really flashy. Bagpipes sound great. And the snare drums, oh yeah, they sound great. But if you don't have good tenor and bass, if your midsection's not there,
Yeah.
you're going home. So yeah, it's the unsung heroes of the music world, really.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Like,
So, did I just see that? Yeah. Queen did tour with Adam Lambert.
it was
didn't
Adam.
they?
Yeah, Adam.
What was that?
Well, that was a one-off, wasn't it? It was
No,
just,
they're doing it again.
they're still doing it. Oh, so I guess he's permanently in the band now, or
Yeah,
what?
he is. I think he's.
Now, do they do
2020.
traditional Queen hits?
Well, I'm sure they do.
Yeah, they do.
Is he
Why
credible?
wouldn't you, right?
Well,
Well, let's
can
find out.
he pull off
Oh, he's got a pretty good range.
Freddie Mercury?
Yeah.
Okay. To be honest, I haven't heard him do any of Queen's stuff.
Here's
Well,
something.
okay, so I guess we're gonna get. Are we gonna see a kind of a?
I'm gonna have to go back to YouTube for this.
Are we gonna get like a sampling of Lambert with Queen?
Oops.
Well,
If I can tell
I
you.
suppose he'd be just as flamboyant.
Yeah, he's pretty flamboyant. So here's "We Will Rock You."
Well, how about Somebody to Love?
You want somebody to love, kid?
Because that's a bit more. There's a bit more involved with that.
I really should. Do
We Will Rock You is a very minimalist tune.
Yeah, that's true.
Live on X Factor? That can't be them.
Well, maybe they were special guests. They did bring in like names.
Time for a very special performance featuring our final 5 with one of the legendary bands. This is Queen with Adam Lambert.
This might be when Queen discovered Adam Lambert.
Okay, so
There's a lot of clips.
So for the audience, yeah, this is just a tribute clip to Queen, and it's all Freddie Mercury here.
I'll try and jump
Okay, we're trying to fast forward here. This is with Adam Lambert.
Yep.
Each morning I get up, I'm tired, can barely stand on my feet. Take a look in the mirror and cry, Lord, what you doing to me? I spent all my years in believing you, but I just can't get no relief. Can anybody find me somebody love?
Yeah, you know, it's not bad.
I work hard every day of my life. I work till I ache my bones at the end.
Pretty good. We can't actually, I think, play too much without getting flagged on
Yeah, I
Spotify,
suppose.
so-
But, you know, he sounds close enough to
Yeah,
Freddie
he's not doing a
Mercury.
Freddie Mercury impression. He's just doing himself, right?
He sounds close enough to Freddie Mercury that you enjoy it.
and he's talented enough. Yeah,
And he's talented enough, but it's different enough
yeah.
that you don't look at it and say, "Oh, you're just trying to recreate
You're
it."
just trying to be Freddie.
Yeah. So yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one thing, the one
Good
bit
for
of
them.
Queen trivia I love is that like Brian May's guitar is irreplaceable.
You mean like his sound
His guitar,
or the individual
It's
instrument?
unique.
the,
one of
the
a
individual
kind.
instrument, he built it himself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that is
Really?
he and his dad, I think.
No way.
But
He's also got a reputation for being
Yeah.
an amazingly talented musician, like a technician on the
yeah,
on the guitar. Not one of these guys who's like a 3-chord wonder.
no, he's well, yeah, no, but him and his father, I think, built the guitar together.
Sex Pistols, they ain't.
Yeah,
Hey, since we're here, can you look up Some Like It Loud and the clip with Whole Lot of Love?
What is Some Like It Loud?
There's the one we were talking about last
This
week
Might
with,
Get Loud.
with The Edge, or Things Might Get Loud, right?
Things might get loud, or things might get weird.
this might get loud.
Oh, okay.
A whole lot of love, you said,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the pod tracker kind of here we are.
So what's this all about? Oh, Jimmy Page.
Jimmy
Oh,
Pa-
yeah. We were talking about interviewing
You don't
three
have
different
any ideas.
guitarists. This is the weirdest looking Jimmy Page I've ever seen. Like he's almost wearing a suit.
Of a guitar that had a lot of sustain on it, and I got him to come down and have a listen to it. I said, "Can you get that?" And he went away and came back with this phenomenal thing, a distortion pedal, which overloads the signal, overdrive the sound, and make it sound pretty rude.
Oh man, the ridiculous stage costumes of 70s rock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the greatest thing ever about Metallica, is that they would go on stage with the same clothes you'd wear to them all.
Yeah.
You know, they looked like
yeah,
high
they're always
school
on stage on
headbangers.
like jeans and t-shirts.
Yeah. Whereas so many bands at that time had like, it was like some kind of, wasn't there legislation somewhere? Like you had to look like an absolute moron to get up on stage. Like you had to wear some kind of like sequin.
I think it was about being a showman, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yes. Like there was some kind of policy somewhere. Like
Yeah.
you had to look absolutely ridiculous. That
Well,
if you were walking down the street in that, like you'd get tuned up or something.
Well, again, with Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins for the induction to the Hall of Fame, they show one of the earlier pictures of Rush wearing these tight white pants and kimonos, right? And they're joking that to this day you can still find Alex Lifeson on cameltoe.org. Because that's the type of thing they were all wearing back then.
Oh, yeah. Just ridiculous outfits, eh? Absolutely.
Tight
just
white pants and
ridiculous.
kimonos. That's good.
So, well, here's something else for you for some off-the-wall pop culture. So, there's on the screen right now is an ad for Sephora. Well, I got to get Christmas gifts. I got to buy gifts. And my mother is 82. I can't get her things because, number one, she doesn't need any things. And she lives in a small one-bedroom apartment. She doesn't have any room for things. So I try and get her consumables.
Right.
And so I thought, well, I wanted to break out, get something a little different. So I thought maybe some kind of cosmetics. And this is a very difficult question to ask someone. Like, if you know nothing about cosmetics, you need to be very careful who you ask for advice.
Oh, yeah.
Because if you go to a woman and say, hey, I was wondering if you could point me in the right direction to where I could get cosmetics for someone with very mature skin, you're making the implication that they have very mature skin.
Yeah.
And that's why you're asking them. It can go over like a lead balloon. So I had to be I learned that quick. I had to be very guarded in who I asked. But anyway, I found a colleague who is like much younger. So much younger that there's no way she's going to make that kind of conclusion. And she directed me to Sephora. Mm-hmm. I got to say, maybe we'll get some sponsorship money. I don't know. But I was really impressed. I think I know nothing about, I don't know anything. Mm-hmm. First, when I walked in, I had to kind of steady myself by the door because the aroma was overpowering.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Like it makes your eyes water for the first 30, 40 seconds or so. It's heavy. Mm-hmm. But then once you kind of adjust and, your olfactory nerves burn out, I went in there, spoke to one of the staff, and I said, this is the person I'm buying for. Mm-hmm. What do you got? And she calls over, another member of the staff, who I guess was an expert in this, definitely picked that individual. And said, come on over. Brings this gal over. Says to me, okay, tell her what you want. I said, this is what I want. Man, that gal knew her products.
Yeah.
Knew exactly. I went to the Bay as well, and I just talked to the people at the counter because the Bay traditionally has a pretty good cosmetics, counter. And they were kind of like, well, we got this, we got this. Whereas the gal from Sephora was like, we got this, and this is why. These 6 reasons are why you might want to consider this product.
Right.
Or we got this because these 5 reasons why it's really good. And there's this subtype, was really good, asking me a bunch of questions. What's her skin like? What she, I gotta say, if you need to buy, I'm going back there. If I ever got to buy cosmetics again for anybody, like a sister, a spouse, my mother, a dog, I don't care, you guys, whoever, I'm going there. They know exactly what they're talking about, man. Holy cats.
I'll tell you where my mind went when you were talking about having to get something for your mother. We were at a family wedding in Calgary. This was a few years ago. And my younger brother and I were sitting talking to my grandmother. My brother gets up and leaves. And that's when my grandma starts talking about the wonderful people who come by the retirement home and sell them bras for old people. Mm-hmm. Because, my breasts start hanging down more, at my age. And I'm just like...
Yeah, this is not a conversation you want with your nan.
This is my grandmother talking to me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, right? That's very nice. And then my brother comes back, and he's like, "So how's it going?" And I'm like, "You have no fucking idea."
But it's legit. I get what your grandma's saying.
Yeah,
it's a legitimate concern.
Your physiology changes.
It's great, but
this
conversation I could have done without.
Yeah, or just because it's your nan.
Yeah, it's my grandmother.
If you had this conversation with a complete stranger, would have been a totally different thing.
Yeah,
it's not
because you can be objective with someone you don't know.
Yeah,
but your nan, that's subjective all the way.
Yeah, I'm like, really, Grandma? Really?
Yeah.
Well, if you
I can't talk about this with you, Grandma.
If you take it to a different family member, it doesn't really get any better, other than your wife, right?
No, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's a niece, you don't want to have that conversation with your daughter. If you're a father, if you're a mom, then yeah. But, so you don't want to have, if you're a man, you don't want to have that conversation with your daughter or your niece
or your aunt
or your
nobody.
Aunt. No.
Nobody. You don't want anyone who you have a subjective
But again, it's a sliding scale. Yeah. Yes, it's uncomfortable at all those levels.
Oh, yeah.
Right? But with my mom, at least, I know my mom had sex at least once, right? Because
I was the last
she had
of that.
me, right?
I was the end of that. I made sure both my parents understood that as far as I'm concerned, it ended with my conception. In their retirement house, what I mean by their retirement house, the last house that they ever had built,
right?
Where they went up, where they sold all their assets, bought a place in the country, and built a purpose-built house, a beautiful house. And so they're showing me when it's finally finished. You know, they had this on the second floor, the master bedroom, big windows that look out onto this lake, gorgeous. But then on the other side, where all the closets were these floor to ceiling length mirrors right across from the bed. And I'm not cool with that. And Mom kind of admonishes me a little bit, like, you know, like, we are married. And I said, it doesn't mean you do that. As far as I'm like, I don't want to know.
Yeah. That's just it.
Yeah, we don't want to know about that.
Don't want to know. Love you.
It's like, if you want, like, this is something that maybe Gen X should be more aware of, because, like, okay, your kids aren't moving out. You got to find a way to get the kids to want to leave the house.
Yeah.
That. Get a machine that bangs the headboard against the wall, even though you're too tired.
With some screaming sounds and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Put it on a recording with a speaker that projects downward into the basement suite or something like that.
Yeah.
Kaboom, kaboom, kaboom. You know, something like, oh yeah, just play that. They'll be gone.
They'll be gone.
They'll be gone before autumn.
I can't help the sense that we might be on track for a tie for our worst episode ever.
It depends on the title. I don't know.
Depends on the title. Yes,
It will. It will depend on the title.
Depends on how we dress this.
It's all up to Steve.
How we dress up this turkey.
Yeah.
All right, this was your idea.
It was my idea.
Give me something, Steve.
Something. Oh, Jesus.
You want to talk about popular culture?
Well, it didn't have to be popular culture. It was just something
Just
light.
happy stuff, light stuff.
Oh, happy stuff. Light
How
stuff.
about
Okay,
how
give me
about
something light
seasonal
and happy.
stuff? I mean, so my birthday weekend was a couple of weekends ago. Mm-hmm. And that's when we tend to go and get the tree and set up the tree, and then we watch Klaus. That is our new go-to movie.
Klaus?
It's called Klaus. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
It starts out. It's almost like a David Spade animated.
Yeah. Is
movie.
it animated or?
It is animated.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's actually a very, very good Christmassy movie. I recommend it. And then last night we watched Last Christmas, which when you go into it, you think it's a rom-com. And it's way more than that. So I recommend that too.
Okay. Question for you. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie, yes or no?
No.
Steve, tell him why he's wrong. I'm throwing it out there. What do you think? Is it a Christmas movie?
I am always in the Die Hard as a Christmas movie camp just because I love it.
Well, yeah, it's not that I don't love it. I mean, it's just not. It's sure, it's fun to play it at Christmas time because it takes place at Christmas. Is it a Christmas movie? No, it's not a Christmas movie.
I don't think they mention Christmas in it, do they?
Yeah, no, they do
yeah,
because he's like flying in for Christmas and it's like
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
You know.
and then he dresses up the bad guy in the Santa suit down the elevator, and now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I guess.
Yeah.
I just like the controversy.
Oh yeah, I think it's.
But yeah,
no,
I think I like the controversy more than
It's
I care
it's
about
a
the
lot
answer.
of fun.
Exactly.
It's like the meme that came out this week. It's like well, it wasn't originally a Christmas movie, but the Emperor Constantine changed it to put it in context back in 323, and then someone else goes, "It was changed. It was acknowledged as a Christmas movie at the Council of Nicaea. I can't believe I have to get angry about this."
Yeah, somebody will also come on about the Treaty of Westphalia or something.
Yeah. All these dates that people have heard of, but they don't really know what they are.
Seminal moments in history.
Yeah. Western history. Yeah. Magna Carta expressly forbade Die Hard as a Christmas movie.
Yeah, no, I do love the controversy. I don't really care, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
there
care
was-
either.
There was, I think I shared it this week again on the book. I don't. Why did Facebook never become the book, but Instagram became the grand?
The Gram.
But you know, like I guess Facebook is like the Gen X platform.
Yes.
This is down a complete different rabbit hole. But Facebook is like the Gen X rabbit hole or Gen X platform, and the Gen X's don't abbreviate things the way the youths do.
I guess. Yes. I
Right.
guess.
Because it seems like calling Facebook the book, since everybody was on it, is like a logical.
Yep.
But-
But it definitely is. How would you say? Showing its age.
Yeah. Well, for sure. Like at least in a subscriber base, right? Like it's
Yeah.
it's a middle-aged old people.
Yeah, it
platform
is.
now.
It is. And I think that's driving away new users
Probably.
in that it has become associated with age, with middle age.
Yeah.
And so that drives away Gen Z.
Yeah. But anyway, the thing I was sharing back to Die Hard, it was like instead of leaving out milk and cookies for Santa Claus, I'm leaving out shoes and spare mags for John McClane.
Yeah. Yeah, shoes and spare mags. Yeah. Yeah, like TikTok is the platform. Now, does TikTok have any competitors?
I think the
Not
closest-
really- not
closest
really.
thing is Instagram, I think.
Yeah, probably, but Instagram is different. See, TikTok came out and immediately all the other platforms, because the coding on TikTok isn't super complicated or anything, right? So all the other platforms immediately adopted the format.
Right.
And it wasn't even TikTok's original format. It was probably, I think Vines was kind of really the originator of that kind of really short sub 1 minute video. And then, yeah, so like Instagram and you can get them on Facebook because they cross-pollinate, and then YouTube, they all have shorts.
Yeah, they all
that
do
are-
shorts now.
Same thing.
Yeah.
So most like TikTok makers will cross-pollinate their stuff to the other platforms.
Yeah.
But,
I'm reading a book right now, just got it started, called War in 140 Characters. And a friend of mine at work said it was on a military reading list, and he really liked it, so I picked it up from the library. And it's written in 2018. It's written about how social media has influenced warfare. And I guess to be more specific about it, how social media influences, or how it's being used in information operations to influence. It's now a beneficial tactic for combatants, not just to control the public opinion of their own domestic population and their enemy's population, but the global population as well, and how social media is done in that. And this is 2018, so it's probably out of date on the conservative side. But it said that at that time, every second, 7 hours of video was uploaded to YouTube.
oh yeah, it's
Every second.
yeah, it's hundreds of thousands of hours a day, right?
Oh my God. Where do they get the storage?
It's insane, right? But that's
Yeah,
that's why
that's
there's
nuts.
massive warehouse-sized server farms.
Yeah.
all over the world.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's absolutely amazing.
It's all
to
data
me.
storage. Like data storage is kind of
Yeah. Yeah, that's
it's a growth
incredible.
business, I guess.
Yeah.
Perpetual.
I wonder how you get into that. How you get into that game because there's got to be money in it. You probably need so much money to start, though.
To start a data farm?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like just a storage. Just
I've actually
the
thinking
capital cost would
Yeah.
be huge.
there doesn't seem to be a lot of competition for YouTube, and I think it could do with some because it's. I'm starting to get to the point. So, I've talked about how I've done meditation along the way, and so some of my best meditations, I suck at it myself, but there's some great videos out there. But there's two things about it that started to piss me off because I had a go-to one since 2007, right? But
But now you get a commercial every 2
now
minutes.
a commercial
Oh,
in the middle
yeah.
of this, I'm not like, you do know this is a meditation, right?
Yeah.
There's a way around that.
There is. You can get ad blockers, I guess.
You can
for
get ad
YouTube.
blockers, but the easiest way is to download a browser called Brave, which contains its own ad blockers. And I watch all. I should have it on here, but I'm not. I don't obviously because we had to listen to a couple of advertisements. But on my other laptop that I do most of my YouTube watching on, I use Brave, and it contains ad blockers, and I don't have to do ads anymore.
And it blocks all the ads that are at the beginning of the
Everywhere.
video.
Well, because lots of videos have ads
Right in the middle.
In the middle, right?
Yeah.
Like
And Brave blocks all those out as
it
well.
blocks them all.
That's really interesting.
Every
It's-
video.
Because along the same lines, and I don't know that this will help with this, you can get these black screen ones that you can put on overnight,
Yeah.
right? So it doesn't
Yep.
wreck your screen,
Yep.
right? But they'll be like 9, 10, 11 hours long,
Yeah, just say
Right.
ambient music or
Yeah.
sounds to sleep to.
right?
Yeah.
But it'll get to hour 6 and it'll stop. It'll go,
Are
do you want
still
to
watch-
continue watching this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you do know you're 9 hours long, and I clicked on you in the first place, right?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah. That's
Well, it's like even Netflix will and Prime. Like if you watch if you watch like
you
three
still there?
episodes of a show in a row of a
yeah,
show,
okay.
and
but,
Yeah.
are you
that
still
one I
here?
actually
Like, what-
appreciate.
have you not heard binge watching? But yeah.
Because we actually had that on Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
That we could record a whole series, right? But if you fell asleep watching that, its default was to delete, and move on to the next episode.
Oh,
So you'd wake up 4 hours later,
And
and it's
it's all
watched
gone.
3 more episodes.
Yeah.
And deleted them.
Deleted
And
them.
I'm like, you fucks.
for competition to YouTube, I think what's driving it, this is an interesting example of a company destroying itself. Because it wasn't that people were upset with the service of YouTube or the format of YouTube. It was their incessant advertising.
Yeah.
Rumble should be cutting checks to YouTube because their entire success thus far is because of people getting upset with YouTube's constant ads and moving to that platform.
I have never watched anything on Rumble. As alternatives, another one. It used to be called Utreon, and it was essentially a combination of
Patreon and
YouTube.
Yep.
And then they changed their name. The worst rebranding ever. They changed their name to Playeur, but spelled French. So PLAYEUR, spelled French. So you can still watch. So like a lot of the creators I watch on YouTube are on there. So sometimes I'll go over.
But you can view content on Patreon itself, can't you?
Yeah,
It's kind of like
but-
Substack for video.
Yeah, but they don't have their own video hosting, right? Player's
okay.
got their own video hosting, so you upload to Player. Whereas Patreon basically is just you link your YouTube video into
Right,
it and
okay.
it will host it there. But
Yeah, that's I can definitely see, because again, what YouTube is doing isn't special. The other thing about it is they have basically changed all of their monetization very slowly and very gradually, so that there will never again be another Mr. Beast. There won't be.
yeah,
You can get millions and millions of views on YouTube now. You will not make a living out of it. YouTube is going to make a very handsome living off of you. But content
Yeah.
creators now,
yeah, it's hard to make if you can't.
Yeah.
You have to do so many different income lines. You need to have a Patreon, so you have to do
Yeah.
the extra content for the Patreon.
Yep.
You probably need to do merch. You need to do right. Like
you cannot make a living as a YouTube creator now,
it's very hard. Yeah,
which there was a brief 10-year window where you could.
Yeah.
And now, forget it.
you can make a lot of money, but
I mean, you can make some money,
Right.
but you're not going to
Well, Mr. Beast is still doing pretty good, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
but
his
he
numbers
got
are way
in
up.
on the ground floor.
Yeah.
He was one of those original guys who got in before YouTube changed the monetization rules. That's what I mean. There'll never be another guy like him.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just trying to download that browser for this while I remembered.
Oh, okay.
That's not very
Now,
exciting for listeners.
can you download that on to say something like Roku?
I
Well,
don't
that
know
would
if
be nice.
Yeah.
Well, they get it from Roku.
So,
They
so
have
now we're getting into the annoying stuff. So here it is, Christmas time. Looking for standards. Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh,
A Christmas Carol with
good
Alistair
luck.
Sim.
yeah. Good luck.
And It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Right?
You're not gonna find 'em.
So Disney, Paramount, all these
Yeah.
right? So they're holding on to these things. But on Roku, I was blown away. They had Miracle on 34th Street.
actually, they have a
And
lot of
they had
On the
It's-
Roku channel?
on Roku channel.
yeah.
Wait for it. And they have It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
But you go and watch them. It's the same words, like the same dialogue happening. The soundtrack's completely different. They got different music playing in the background.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. And it is so fucked up. It's like, no.
wonder why
George Bailey does not say things to this music. Stop doing this.
I wonder why they did that. A copyright?
I'm thinking it must be. It has
Yeah, it
to
must
be
be
a
some
copyright
licensing
thing.
thing where they couldn't get.
Yeah, maybe. Interesting. I will say that the selection of movies available to me in this downloading streaming era is a shadow of what it was in the Blockbuster video era. I find it so much harder to find older films, not
Oh, yeah, older
leading
stuff,
cutting edge.
absolutely,
yeah, and
yes.
classic films.
Yes.
So much harder to find classic movie, and not just classic movies, a movie that's 10 years old.
Yeah.
I wanted to try and find Taken about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, you can find 2 and 3 online, but number 1.
Nope. Yet if I never ever had a problem. I remember there were the big video outlets, right? They were fairly large. I don't ever recall walking into one of those, looking for a video,
And not being able to
and
find
not being able to find it, or at the absolute worst, they would say, well, I have it at this other location. We can have it here tomorrow. That was the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
You had to come back tomorrow. Whereas now with this whole age of, everything is right in my house and never have to leave the couch. If I want some B-movie schlock that was made in China, oh yeah, I can find that. But to actually, to get a movie that was made, say, 10, 15 years ago, forget it. Forget it. Or a classic. Like, say I want to watch The Searchers or Shane. Nope, you're not going to get it.
No, there could be some obscure movies out there. Like, there's a Bill Murray movie called The Man Who Knew Too Little. Mm-hmm. Hilarious movie.
It might depend on the software because you have a Roku, I'm assuming.
Hey, man. And I had Netflix for a while.
Yeah.
Netflix was garbage.
No,
It was hot garbage. All of the crap that was on that I'm never going to watch, and the stuff that I did want to see, Netflix never had it.
When did you get rid of it?
Oh, about 5-6 years ago.
They've got some good stuff on there.
Maybe, but I'm not.
They produce their own. They've become like HBO.
I am not
AMC.
bothering with it anymore, man.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
there's some
it's-
good shit out there.
I don't feel like Netflix is great value for money.
No,
Even though
I definitely don't
still
feel
pay
it's
for it.
value for money.
That,
If it was
the,
like $3 a month, I'd do it.
the one, yeah, exactly right. The one that I think they still do the standard definition. Like if you don't want high def, I think they still do that one for $10 a month. But I think I'm like $18 a month now for Netflix or something. That's ridiculous.
no,
But
no way.
The one that's great value for money is like Apple TV Plus. Like,
Yeah?
it's not that there's like a lot of programming there that you couldn't find. So it's not like they have a lot of content, but the content they have is really good.
Yeah.
Like their own produced stuff. Mm-hmm. And then Prime, I still find is worthwhile because like if you want to watch John Wayne movies, it's usually you can find them on Prime.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got to rent them, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
And that's the thing. Why am I paying a subscription if I got to rent the movie anyway?
yeah. But you see, Prime, they don't look at it that way. You're paying for Prime, you're paying for shipping, and you get a free TV app because of it. Right? That's how they look at it.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not the way I look at it.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
but-
Well,
and it's my money.
that's the only reason we've got it because
Yeah.
Karen has a Prime account
yeah.
for Amazon.
Yeah.
Right. So we use that to watch TV. But I started watching. I watched Carnival Row, both seasons of that. I watched Jack Ryan.
I tried 2 episodes.
You didn't like it?
Couldn't stand it.
Well, the first season wasn't bad. Second season it's just a rehash of Clear and Present Danger.
Yeah.
Put in a different.
But just the plot
But they
lines
rehashed
were-
the movie instead of the book.
and the plot lines were just like, seriously, do you take me for an idiot?
I don't know.
Like the one in Venezuela.
Yeah, that was the second.
That was horrible. That was insulting to the intelligence.
I enjoyed it, but
God,
I don't look for.
It was excruciating.
I don't look. It got panned. I don't know. I'm not good at watching TV critically. It's like it takes a lot to piss me off, but and stuff does still succeed. But I generally enjoyed all the Jack Wright, and also I probably season 2 had Numi Rapace, and I'm a simp for Numi Rapace. So
There's speaking.
I'm trying to remember. Is she the one in the Swedish version?
she's from the Swedish girl.
Who?
Numi Rapace. You never seen it?
So she was in the Swedish. Dragon Tattoo.
Girl, yep.
Not
the American one.
Hollywood one. Okay.
So this is
Because the other one was Rooney Mara.
Yeah, Rooney Mara.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Was it Rooney Mara? No.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Speaking of Jack Ryan and the author who created that.
Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy.
Yeah, Tom Clancy. Do you remember a book that he wrote? Oh, geez, long time ago. I'm thinking 90s, called Red Storm Rising.
Yeah.
Which was a fictional.
Yeah.
His take on.
I actually
World War
listened to
III.
it. I found it on YouTube. And,
Yeah.
And listened to the whole audiobook. But yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking probably the chapters that Buddy is digitizing.
Fix Edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those.
Yeah.
Like he plays the audiobook, and then I think he uses.
He's using DCS.
Yeah, I think he's using
Yeah.
DCS, but he creates imagery to go along with the audiobooks.
Yeah.
I thought, man, somebody needs to pay that cat.
Oh, yeah. It's
to
great.
do the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
It is like I'd pay $15 to watch that on the big screen.
Yeah,
man.
it's
Like,
great.
That's great stuff.
Well,
yeah.
you couldn't watch it. It would have to be like 9 movies.
you know what I mean?
Because
Yeah.
even the audiobook, I think it was 9 hours long,
Yeah,
right?
It'd be like another Lord of the Rings, like multiple settings or sessions. But
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I think I've seen her before.
Yeah. Oh, you would have seen her. She's been on a number of things now, but
But,
her breakout thing was the
Yeah,
Girl
some
with
of
the
her
Dragon Tattoo.
pictures up here at the top. There's Numi Rapace or Rapace or whatever the hell her name is.
She's Swedish.
Yeah, she looks familiar. But yeah, I really enjoy those YouTube shorts.
Yeah.
Anytime it pops up in my feed, like, oh yeah, that's watching that right now. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff.
Yeah, because the actual, not the movie, book.
What are you looking for now?
Or not Clear Present Danger.
Jack Ryan.
Red Storm Rising, right?
Red Storm Rising, yeah.
Rising audio book.
The whole audiobook.
Yeah. 31 hours long. So,
Holy!
so I kept one
Yikes.
screen, I kept one screen open, and on the weekends when I had time, I would
Right.
just go resume and
Yeah.
then play. Usually
Yeah.
I was playing Forza Racing while I was listening to it. But
I
yeah.
remember reading that years and years and years.
It was like the thickest book he ever wrote.
It was, yeah,
Yeah.
it was. A lot
'Cause
to
it was I think 1,100 pages or something like that. Like, It was a big book.
Is that the far left Storms Rising audiobook? Is that porn?
No,
Is that like a porn parody of it? Or?
I don't think so. No.
Oh, okay. Those are always entertaining. You got a big blockbuster film, and then you look at the ridiculous porn.
Oh yeah.
Porn parodies. That come
Yeah. Porn parodies where it's just the titles. Just the titles alone are always entertaining.
Yeah.
See what they've done with that. When I was my first full-time work after high school, I worked at the Citadel Theater downtown, and of course the Citadel would always go dark in the summer, and then all the technical staff, all the lighters, lighting tech, electricians, sound techs, all these guys, they would all get on Pogie, but then work under the table down in California in the adult film industry,
Ah, okay.
and man.
Well, how would they do that? Well, maybe in the old days you could. But
Yeah.
I was going to say, because my friend Heather was on Pogie for a while.
Yep.
And then went on a trip out of the country.
Yep.
But maybe it's because it was going to the States, and if it was pre 9/11, you'd probably
Yeah.
get away with it.
Yeah, they didn't.
But she left. She went to Europe. She left the
Yeah.
country,
Yeah.
and they knew instantly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she got back and she had an Instagram from employment.
Oh, okay.
Canada.
Well.
Yeah.
Back then you just crossed the border on.
But yeah, if you
know?
just crossing the border. But I mean, like she went to Europe, so it was.
Yeah, you just drive over the border at Sweetgrass.
Yeah.
I'm just going for the day.
Yeah.
No one really tracked it, you know. Like,
No, they
this
don't,
is-
and they don't care,
Yeah.
right? Because they won't kick you out for 6 months.
Yeah, this was like early '90s kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, and yeah, they were only going for like a couple, like maybe 2 months at the most.
Yeah.
And anyway, they would work under the table, and oh man, it was interesting.
I bet.
Really interesting. Like they pointed out that this is back in the days of VHS, of course, right? I don't know if this still applies in the modern. I would imagine it doesn't. But they said the single most expensive part of a porn production was the cover jacket, the cardboard cover for the VHS tape.
Oh yeah, yeah. The photography for that
Yep.
and the composition.
And he said 100% because it's kind of like what we talked about with a Tinder dating profile. If that cover jacket isn't enticing enough to get someone to pick it up, everything inside the video is pointless.
Yeah.
And that they would find a property, something kind of like a bed and breakfast or like Airbnb, something to that effect.
Yeah.
Where they would rent some fancy mansion. And I guess it was back then it was still a booming thing. Just Airbnb wasn't around. It was all just done by word of mouth.
Yeah.
So I mean, these people were successful businessmen. They found ways to monetize all kinds of stuff. So the studio would, through some other company, like you didn't actually tell the owner of the house, yeah, we're going to film a porn in your house. It was a holding company that rented it. Oh yeah, we're doing models are doing a photo shoot or some crap. Like, yeah, they did. Yeah, and they did a legit photo shoot in it for about the first half an hour. And then after that, in comes the porn. And they would shoot like 8 different movies
Yeah.
in a weekend.
Sure.
And it was foot to the floor, like giving her.
Yeah.
In that you would have, they said like the sound guys really had to know what they were doing. Because you're in this room and you're shooting, but maybe 15 feet behind you on the other side is the next scene that's going in.
Yeah.
And they're blocking, they're reviewing their scripts, they're talking about this is what the director wants. These are the angles, and he's kind of briefing his people on, what he wants to happen. And then, over to the right, 15 feet away is the scene that just finished, and they're all at the catering cart. And they're eating and they're drinking and they're talking and whatnot. So you really had to be good at manipulating your mics so that it only picked up, what was actually going to be on the camera.
Right.
The behind the scenes people who were employed was also really interesting. Like I didn't know that they had such kind of a footprint, especially the bigger studios. Mm-hmm. And then the smaller ones where you had somebody triple, quadruple hatting, doing all of these roles, trying to make all of this work. And, so sketchy. Like,
I bet, yeah.
You can understand why people were paid in cash.
If you bring 40 people in Canada.
Man, yeah, it was so dirty. Like, it was just, dodgy stuff. And of course, I was a teenager listening. Holy crap! Like eyes like pie plates listening to these stories.
Yeah.
Oh, bizarre stuff. I wonder. I would imagine it's just as seedy now. The only difference is they're not actually recording something. They're probably just either, or maybe they are recording, just throwing it on a digital storage device and then uploading it.
No.
Oh yeah. Like it's all digital now. It's not.
Yeah. There's no distribution. There's no cover jacket, nothing like that.
No, it's like music.
Yeah, no, there's like nobody's doing anything to DVD. It's all going to the internet, right?
It's all going to internet. Yeah,
right,
I would imagine.
I think So like the production companies.
Yep.
And
I would
are now the biggest production companies are now the biggest websites. I think.
Yeah,
probably.
I would also imagine that there's far less use of professionals. They're probably not like if I had to throw a dart and guess. They're not bringing guys all the way down from Edmonton to do that. There's so much software now.
Oh, like for as far as production stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That allows you to have amateurs running your cameras, your mics, your booms, your lighting.
And I don't even know that they're doing booms and lighting anymore. I think it's just because the software and the cameras themselves has gotten good.
Could be.
That it's
Yeah.
just
You can get away with that.
A camera with a ring light around the lens, and that's how we're doing it, right?
Yeah, and I bet you that's what it is.
And if you really splurge, we'll have a Steadicam rig or something like that.
Just a gimbal.
Yeah, probably actually.
Yeah,
just a gimbal,
if you want to splurge, we went on eBay. We
got a
spent
gimbal.
$200. They got a gimbal for the cell phone
because you can make stuff look better. I mean, like when you think about like the YouTube creators, like and how that I follow, and like how much of their stuff was just shot on their cell phones.
Yes,
right. Like
absolutely. Some of the first YouTube videos that I watched about overlanding and camping.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, the guys who did it did have prior experience working in film, like in proper professional film.
Yeah.
So their techniques were really good. But I remember it was about these guys who they had 2 or 3 vehicles, and they were going down a trail, the Mackenzie Trail in British Columbia, and this was the trail that Alexander Mackenzie had apparently taken to get to the Pacific. It was an old grease trail, as they called it,
right?
Going through the interior BC, and tremendously difficult terrain and whatnot. So these vehicles are, it was like an expedition, and it was a multi-part series. And I was thoroughly entertained. I loved it, but I also remember thinking like this is like most YouTube at the time was like home movies. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was television quality.
Right.
It was like Nat Geographic Channel quality in everything. The music, the fading, the angles, the mics, all of it. And I remember thinking, this is incredible for something that's free.
Yeah.
That doesn't is just like radio for me. My only cost is buying the technology that I can access the content with, like buying a car radio or buying a transistor radio allows me to listen to FM radio for free. I got to put up with ads.
Yeah.
But that's it. And it was the same thing happening with video. And I remember thinking that, this is going to change everything. It was kind of an awakening moment, I guess. What's this now? Oh, this is that.
I'm just
line.
bringing up in case we watch anything else. I can do
Yeah.
it without ads this
You
time.
do it without ads. There you go. There you go.
Keep on talking. Well, I guess I can edit out the dead space later.
Oh yeah, no, the dead space. Well, try to give me something.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's. I feel kind of weird about this one because I do feel like who's gonna be interested in listening to all this?
Nobody, but no one's interested in anything we do anyway.
I mean, I guess we do have some suggestions for gifts and Christmas movies and.
Okay, anybody listening to this schlock, if you have actually sat and
Gotten this
put
far.
up with 2 full episodes, send in an email. Because I don't think you exist. I'm calling
right.
it straight out.
The challenge is on.
Nobody actually comes. There are no repeat offenders in this audience base. Everyone says, okay, you know what? I did it because they said I couldn't do it. They said I wouldn't make it to the end. I'm here, but I'm not ever going back again.
Well, I've spoken to people who have listened to at least 2.
What
I'm saying people.
you
I'm
need?
talking
You
3
need
people. who
You
have listened
need
to
a
at least
better
2.
caliber of friends, Trent.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But
Yeah, I think.
one thing I will say, and I was going to leave this at closing. Sorry, go ahead, Steve.
No, I was just gonna say that. Like I know but like most of our listeners, I think are personally known to some of us, or like everyone, I think is probably personally known to at least one of us.
Yes, yes. That's the other qualifier. I don't think we have a single listener who is not personally known to us who has listened to 2 complete episodes. Not one. Not a single one.
I think
While
probably-
standing on one leg, juggling 3 cans.
Not even. Not even. Who wasn't at least on suicide watch or something like that?
because of us.
Yes. Or they said, "Look, man, I'm depressed. I think it might end it all. I want something that's really going to push me over the edge." What is this? Radio Free Artona? I've heard this is really bad.
We've got you covered.
Yeah.
Heard
You
this
want
is
to be
awful.
depressed? Listen,
Yeah. If you are looking for a reason to open a vein,
So
we'll help you.
I was going to say something. And I was originally going to say for closing out and kind of be. I don't want to push this on today's episode,
But
What?
but I don't want to end either because like we're closing out the year.
yeah, I guess yeah.
I will say this: that when we're talking about things, lighthearted things that I love about the last year, this has, and I mean this not as an exaggeration or insincerely or anything like that, but hanging out with you 2 lovable clowns
Curmudgeons.
has been a good part of my turning things around the last year and a half. So I thank you for that. I truly enjoy hanging out with you guys and just being one of 3 guys.
You know what has been one of the most enjoyable episodes we ever did was the barbecue episode. Mm-hmm. Where after we finished talking about whatever we were talking, we went out and we went out into the backyard.
We barbecued, yeah.
That was awesome. That was epic. That has to be done again. That needs to
we
become
will
an
do it
annual
again.
thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't even poison you.
Somebody from the base keeps trying to call me. That's the second. That's
I
the
wonder
second
if you've
call.
been stood up or
It's I don't know.
stood to.
No, I've got an appointment.
Are we being
Do I have an
attacked? Are we being
appointment today or
invaded?
tomorrow?
Do we need to go downstairs and get those guns out of the safe?
Maybe I don't know.
Start bombing mags?
We'll see. Yeah, start bombing up, boys.
Enough of this lighthearted shit.
It's on. No.
Yeah, I don't have anything going on today. I got something going on tomorrow. Maybe they just want to call to
Confirm.
or bump my appointment. Say, hey man, we want you to do another day. Maybe they do. That's probably why. If it was something, it's the only reason why anybody on the base actually makes a real effort to contact you is if they want something from you
Or they
that you don't have to give.
Right.
If it's something that I want from them, like screw you.
Yeah.
I tried calling you, you didn't answer. Meh, up your bum.
Yeah.
I can walk away. But if they need something from me and I have the power to say no, now they're
working hard.
lovey-dovey. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're friends of yours now. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's the army.
There we go. All right. Well, I think we've
We've covered the ground.
we've talked ourselves out.
Yep.
Ourselves.
Now it's up to Steve to come up with a title that's gonna.
Sell this schlock. that's gonna. He's got.
Keep that up. I might just call schlock, and more schlock. But
I've had a lipstick on a pig. I don't know.
Gift ideas and other things.
yeah, that won't sell it.
No, that won't sell it.
Yeah.
The most amazing episode ever.
Our
Most
best ever.
important podcast of the year. If you
Yes.
listen to one cast.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I'll do. We'll sell you the whole CB. You only need the edge.
Yeah.
Make sure to
Thank
listen
God.
all the way to the end.
Yes, for absolutely no reason whatsoever.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everybody. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about how great and awesome we are.
And if you are that person who does not personally know us and actually sat through 2 episodes of this crap, you write in. Because brother
Or sister.
or
Sibling.
I have more faith in womanhood than that. Something wrong with you, first off, but I just want to, I need to know if you exist.
Yeah.
All right. Merry Christmas. You
Thanks,
luckheads.
everybody.
Merry Christmas.